Are you looking for a video that's going to actually explain what the stroke of a tattoo machine is and why it's important? In this video, I'm going to explain it for you. My name is Denzel. I've been tattooing 8 years and my family owns Finding Studios in Central Florida. We have 20 plus locations and an academy where we have placed over 100 students into studios by giving them the education that I'm going to begin sharing with you. One of the first things you're going to need to know as a beginner artist before buying your first tattoo machine is stroke. Stroke in a tattoo machine is the distance that the needle is being pulled back in the machine by the rotation of the cam. A cam is a flat plate in the machine that rotates, and this rotation is what causes the needle to go in and out of the machine. Now, machines can have one of the following stroke options depending on what was pre-installed in the machine that you bought. You may see terms such as short stroke, medium stroke, or long stroke when looking up tattoo machines. So to break this down even further, short stroke machines are going to be any machine that has up to a 2.5 millimeter cam. Medium stroke machines are going to be any machine that has a cam between 2.7 and 3.5 millimeters. And then anything up from 3.5 millimeters, which can go upwards of 5.0 millimeters, is going to be considered a long stroke. And some machines come with additional cams that allow you to change out the actual cam or the stroke in your machine. So they give you a little bit flexibility with what you can do. And what the stroke tells you is how hard the machine actually hits. A machine with a longer stroke is going to hit harder than a machine with a shorter stroke, because the distance that the needle is being pulled back in the machine is going to be larger. You're going to want to think of a rubber band as an example. If I take a rubber band and I pull it back slightly and let it go, it's going to have less impact than if I were to take a rubber band and pull it back as far as I can and then let it snap. The same goes for a tattoo machine. The larger the cam, the larger the distance that the needle is being pulled back, increasing the impact that it has on the skin. Now, each stroke is going to have a different purpose, which is why sometimes you'll see artists with multiple machines. Short stroke machines are going to hit a lot softer. They're going to be ideal for soft shading, black and gray realism, or anything that has to do with fine lines or that's going to require multiple passes. Medium stroke machines can be used for line work, color packing, and is going to be the most well-rounded as you can lower the voltage for softer work or raise the voltage of the machine for bolder lines or color or black and gray saturation. Longer stroke machines are going to hit a lot harder, and they're going to be used for bold lines that are higher than a 9-round liner. So let me tell you a quick story. A couple years ago, we ended up working with an artist that ended up buying a new machine. When they got the machine, they ended up using it for a couple weeks on a few different clients. And after a couple weeks, we ended up noticing that she was getting a lot of people coming back needing touch-ups on their work. And for me, I tell all my artists that you really shouldn't have to do touch-ups on your work. You should be able to get the work in pretty good the first time around. And if you need to do touch-ups, it should be very, very minor. This particular artist's work, the entire tattoo ended up being scarred and most of the tattoo ended up falling out. So we ended up having to take a look at her machine and we figured out that she ended up having a 5.0 stroke for that machine. And because she didn't make any adjustments to the voltage compared to her previous machine, which was a shorter stroke, she ended up causing a lot of trauma to the client's skin. So it's very important that you know the stroke of your machine before you begin tattooing. So then you could ask the question, does the stroke of the tattoo machine really matter? I would say yes. You need to know how hard your machine hits so that you're able to really determine the voltage at which you run your machine and how to approach the tattoo that you're doing. You don't want to be in the position where you're either tearing up the skin by running your machine too high, or the ink isn't going in because you're running your machine too low and using a softer hitting machine. The machine that I recommend for beginners has a 3.5 millimeter stroke and is super budget friendly and versatile. You should be able to do any tattoo that comes your way with it by adjusting the speed of the machine depending on the style that you're working on. And a quick note, this is not to be confused with needle depth or how far the needle sticks out of the machine. Every machine you should be able to adjust how far the needle sticks out of the machine depending on the stroke that you have on the machine. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments, and feel free to like the video and subscribe if you're interested in seeing more content like this in the future.